Cardiovascular Institute of the South is celebrating 40 years of delivering healthcare to our patients and communities. Founded by Dr. Craig Walker in 1983 and guided by a mission to provide the highest quality cardiovascular care available, CIS has pioneered hundreds of firsts to improve outcomes for cardiovascular diseases. Through new technology, virtual care, outpatient procedures, and national growth, CIS is improving lives and leading the way for advanced care and innovation.
Everybody, welcome back into Bayou Time. Look, we talk about it all the time. Risk Rating 2.0. There's going to be a new administrative, and the Republicans are actually going to have control of the Senate. That's where yesterday Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana went to the floor to talk about Risk Rating 2.0, and he gave a speech highlighting the new report detailing the current state of flood insurance in Louisiana and how it's becoming unaffordable for so many people that they're not even re-upping their insurance. Here's part of what he said yesterday.
But the program is not serving Americans the way it should. Skyrocketing insurance premiums caused by FEMA's new risk assessment program, Risk Rating 2.0, has left many people in Louisiana and many families around the nation with no way to protect their home. Risk Rating 2.0 makes flood insurance unaffordable and puts the entire program at financial risk. Now, despite Congress never approving Risk Rating 2.0, it unfairly jacks up rates, driving people to drop their coverage. Let me repeat that. Despite Congress never approving Risk Rating 2.0, this program by NFIP is jacking up rates, forcing people to drop their coverage. I hear this story from folks in Louisiana constantly, and that's what motivated me and my team to release a detailed report breaking down the current state of NFIP, how it reached this point, and what Congress can do to make flood insurance affordable again. What we found confirmed what people in Louisiana and Americans across the country already know. The National Flood Insurance Program is broken. Now, by the way, this is 19 pages. It's not 60 pages, 600 pages of legalese. It's not something that you read to cure your insomnia. It's 19 pages that a senator, that a staff person, that someone watching can download and read, and with 19 pages, you can understand a complex program and to understand why it's failing the people it is intended to serve. And we did this in the goal that we would help get a program that is affordable, accountable, and sustainable, as opposed to the program that FEMA has created, one that is unaffordable and going bankrupt as it forces Americans to drop unaffordable coverage. After storms like Hurricane Helene, which, by the way, showed us that flooding is not just a coastal issue, it's also occurring inland in river systems, we should listen to the American people when they say they are not okay with the status quo. So let's take a look at some of the things in the report. And I warn you, it's not good news. First, we found that the average flood insurance cost in every state rose following Risk Rating 2.0. That was true for 80% of people in Louisiana who saw a spike in their insurance premiums in the first year. Second, NFIP premiums in Louisiana increased by 234%, resulting in 52,000 people in Louisiana dropping their policies last year alone. That's 52,000 Louisiana homeowners dropping their policies because it was no longer affordable in just 1 year. And I represent Louisiana, but it's not just Louisiana in which this is an issue. Nearly 500,000 Americans nationwide have dropped their coverage. Third, FEMA itself now predicts up to 1 million policyholders nationwide could lose flood insurance coverage in the next decade. They admit that their pricing is going to devastate the ability of Americans to afford this program. That said, FEMA still refuses to be transparent in terms of how they are calculating premiums. And this lack of transparency with Risk Rating 2.0 leaves policyholders in the dark. This is the reason that we pushed to delay the program's implementation when it was first announced. President Trump did delay. In 2019, my office worked with the Trump administration to delay the risk rating 2.0 because of this lack of transparency in how FEMA was calculating rates. But when the Biden administration took over, they allowed risk rating 2.0 to move forward, even though concerns were never addressed. And the end result, homeowners hit with high premiums, no explanation, and I repeat once more, 52,000 people in Louisiana dropping coverage, 500,000 people nationwide. A fourth key finding that as we investigated in FIP and the lawsuits against risk rating 2.0 continued, it became clear that FEMA never had the authority to implement risk rating 2.0 without congressional approval. Again, I repeated it earlier, I'll repeat it again. FEMA never had the authority to implement risk rating 2.0 without congressional approval. They never consulted Congress, and we never passed it. They went around Congress, and their explanation, I think, is flimsy. It's like when you catch your child doing something they know they shouldn't be doing. Risk rating 2.0 did not even adhere to the proper procedure for rulemaking in the executive branch. Risk rating 2.0 runs counter to what Congress intended, and FEMA had no right to do what they did. So these are the four key findings of the report. 1, premiums rose in every state. 2, they rose astronomically in places like Louisiana. 3, up to 1 million policyholders will drop their coverage because they can no longer afford it. And 4th, FEMA sidestepped Congress to implement this without authority.
Well, we certainly hope that Bill Cassidy makes a difference because, that is amazing when 500,000 people drop their coverage. I guess Ronald Reagan said it best when he said, one of the scariest words you can ever hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That seems to be what they've done. And personally, I can tell you, I went from not in a flood zone to in a flood zone, from not even needing to have insurance, $300 a year for flood insurance, to $8,000 a year for my home. So it hits a lot of people for sure. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.